Jonathan Rivers is a famous architect who lives with his second wife Anna. The opening scene shows both of them getting ready for work while they wait for Jane, who is Jonathan's first wife, to pick up their son Mike for school. However, Anna receives a call from Jane, stating that she will be unable to make it. Anna is a renowned writer and her new book is nearing its release date. She has to go to work to check out the book covers for her book, so she decides to drop Mike to school on the way. The couple is in a happy marriage, and before leaving, Anna discloses to John that she is pregnant, which makes John extremely happy, and they both head out to work. In the office, John asks her secretary to order some flowers and chocolates to take home after work. After work, John comes home and starts waiting for Anna. He starts working on a design for his current project while waiting, but it's getting late and Anna is still not home. He begins to call people inquiring about Anna's whereabouts but receives no information. The next morning, it is reported on the news that famous author Anna Rivers had an accident. Her car was discovered near the river, implying that she may have fallen in while attending to a flat tire. Her body, however, was nowhere to be found. Weeks go by but the body is still not found. Police begin to suspect that she may have been kidnapped, but there is no definitive proof. One morning while leaving for work, John notices a car parked outside his house but doesn't give it much thought and drives to work. While looking out of the window in his office, he notices the same car parked outside his office and decides to confront the man. He confronts the man and demands an explanation about why he is following John. He tells John that his name is Raymond Price, that he is following him because of Anna, and that he is receiving messages from her from the other side. He says that Anna is dead and she is trying to communicate with him. John doesn't take him seriously and walks away. Raymond attempts to convince John to believe him, but John warns Raymond to stay away. Raymond hands John his business card and leaves. At 2:30 in the morning, the police visit John to inform him that his wife's body has been found. She received head and arm injuries when she fell on the rocks. Because of her injuries, she was unable to keep herself above water and drowned. Her body was swept upstream several miles from the place where her car was found. John is devastated by the news and goes through a difficult phase. 6 months go by and John moves to a new home in order to move on with his life. While on a site visit to one of his projects, something strange happens. He receives a call on his phone from Anna. He is shocked and unable to pick up. John then rushes home to see if Anna's phone is still in the evidence bag the police gave him. To his surprise, the phone is still there. While he is holding both phones, he again receives a call from Anna. This time he picks up the phone but hears nothing but white noise. The same night he wakes up at 2:30 a.m. and hears beeping on the answering machine. He runs to listen to the message and it's more white noise, but this time, he hears someone calling his name. The next morning, he decides to show up at Raymond Price's house and figure out what's going on. While at Ray's place, he meets with Sarah Tate, who often comes to Raymond's to talk with her dead fiancé. Ray then shows John his EVP machine, which stands for Electronic Voice Phenomenon, through which he talks with the dead. He even sees them on the screen and can record them. Ray shows him some recordings in order to gain his trust. He then shows John a recording of Anna's voice and John recognizes it. Later on at home, John himself hears some static voices. He hears the words, "Susie Tomlinson, smile." He doesn't understand what this means. Shortly after, he receives a call from Raymond who asks him to come to his place immediately because he has something important to tell him. When John arrives, he finds Raymond dead. Everything in Raymond's house is messed up, and the police have no idea what happened. This leaves John baffled. He then sets up another EVP at his home and tries to communicate with his dead wife himself. After a lot of tries, he is still unable to communicate. He then goes to a psychic to understand what Anna is telling him. The psychic brings up Willow Avenue, but John doesn't understand what it means. She warns John about what he is doing. She warns him not to meddle in the affairs of the dead because it could have serious consequences. That night, John again tries to communicate with Anna through the EVP. Although he is unable to hear Anna's voice, he hears the same phrase, "Susie Tomlinson, smile," again. John decides to track this person down. When he finds Susie Tomlinson, he finds out that this message was from Susie Tomlinson's grandmother to Susie. Her grandmother used to say to her, "Susie Tomlinson, smile." Upon further discussion, John discovers that Susie's grandmother died just 2 days ago, but John was getting this message from her grandmother for a week. John then realizes that the messages of people he receives through the EVM are not yet dead but are about to die, and Anna is warning John about these deaths. Later that night, while on the EVM, John sees some static images. He sees images of 3 shadows who appear to be 3 men. Then he hears Anna, who who tells John to go to Willow Avenue right now. John drives to Willow Avenue to find a car that just had an accident. John rushes to the car to save the people inside. Inside the car, he sees a woman crying for help. He tries to save the woman, but there isn't enough time to get her out. She tells John to save her baby instead. John has a hard time reaching the baby but is ultimately successful in saving the child's life. This confirms that the people he sees on the EVM are people about to die. John realizes that he can save many other lives with the help of Anna and decides to continue helping people. He and Sarah begin decrypting the messages on the EVM. They receive the message about a woman named Mary Freeman, who was reportedly abducted a few days ago. They see the same three shadows of the men on the screen along with a picture of Mary Freeman who is tied and is in pain, meaning that she is still alive and John can save her. While Sarah and John are discussing the message they just received, they see Sarah's static image on the screen, which indicates that Sarah is also going to die. Sarah doesn't take this very well. John tries to calm her and gives her sleeping pills and tells her to sleep at his place. He assures her that he will stay by his side. Later that night, John goes to the bathroom. While leaving the room, he places an object at the door so the door doesn't close behind him. When he is in the bathroom, some paranormal activity can be seen behind John. He notices that the door to Sarah's room is closed and the object he placed to block the door is moved from its place. He immediately enters the room to find Sarah gone. While searching, he sees Sarah standing near the edge of the balcony. He tries to stop her but she jumps. Although she is not dead, she receives an injury to the head and is taken to the hospital. A police officer meets John at the hospital and inquires about the incident. John, knowing that the officer is not going to believe what is happening, denies any knowledge of the incident. The officer tells John not to leave town and that he may come to his place later for further investigation. When John returns home, he discovers that his home has been similarly trashed like Raymond's when he passed away. Everything is out of its place but the EVM is still on. He sees Anna on the screen telling him to go to a place that she shows on the screen. He also sees Mary Freeman on the screen. John recognizes the place and heads over right away. After John leaves, the officer who met John at the hospital comes by. Finding the place trashed, he also sees Mary Freeman on the EVM. While searching for an explanation for what happened at John's place, he receives a call from John. He informs him that he has found the spot where Mary Freeman is being held and instructs him to go to the same address immediately. John tries to find Mary Freeman in the abandoned building. As he walks around, he sees an area with several monitors. He sees a reflection of Anna, telling him to go now. John then hears Mary screaming, and when he follows the screams, he finds Mary tied up next to the man who took her. He tells John that the shadows talked to him. They told him to do everything. It was their idea to abduct Mary. He then discloses that they were very pleased with him when he abducted Anna. John realizes that Anna didn't fall but was abducted by this man and he made it look like an accident. He did all this because of these three men who keep appearing on the EVM. When the man moves to kill Mary Freeman, John rushes to stop him. The shadows attack John to stop him from saving Mary. While trying to kill Mary, he is shot in the back by police officers who arrive on the scene just in time to save Mary. They manage to save Mary Freeman but find John's dead body. While attempting to communicate with his beloved wife, John sacrifices his life, but he can finally be with her on the other side. All his family and friends attended his funeral service along with Sarah Tate, who is still recovering from the fall. In the final scene, when John's son and his ex-wife get in the car to leave, they hear John's voice on the radio. He tells his son that he's sorry, which makes him smile. In the end, John and Anna are shown together on the EVM, indicating that they both are finally together and at peace. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more videos.